Welcome, everyone, to the Sickos Committee Podcast. This is our podcast for the evening of March 10th, 2023. If you are in the middle of your madness in March, please return your chair to the upright and locked position. I got nothing. Apparently, we've already given out some of the auto bids, which is exciting. This is the time of year where I feel like everyone else feels like about college football, and that there are too many teams and too many conferences, and I can simply not keep up with all of this. I assume this is how NFL people look at 130 whatever teams we have now and go, ugh, I can't keep track of all of that. This is how I look at 300 and whatever basketball teams and go, ugh, that's a lot. Anyways, that's sort of where I'm at right now. I hope that everyone had a good leap forward. Time changes suck. Pitt Girl, you're making faces.
You forgot
I gotta say the line.
Yeah.
Linear time was a mistake. Also, we should just be on daylight savings time all the time. Standard time sucks.
Just pick one.
Standard time. All the homies hate standard time.
No, standard time is great. Standard time is my favorite.
You like getting out of work at 5 p.m. and it being dark already?
Yeah. I mean, like, I prioritize it being light before I go into work.
See, I need the light in the afternoon.
No, I need the light in the morning.
Having lived in Chicago and getting off work at 4 o'clock and it already being dark and having to drive for like an hour and a half through the Eisenhower parking lot to get home completely in the dark, I would much rather not.
I got that. Well, folks, as always, I'm Jordan. With me tonight, I've got Kevin, I've got Pitt Girl, I've got Brigit, I got Adam. Commish will be here when he is. He is dealing with children, our favorite thing.
Yay!
Kevin, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm watching the very tail end of the Women's Gold Cup final right now.
Is the U.S. still up?
Yeah, we're up 1-0. It just went into stoppage time. There's 5 minutes added on. And also the Notre Dame women won the ACC tournament today. So It's been a very good day for me sporting-wise.
Yeah. Pitt Girl, how are you?
I'm good. I was in Pittsburgh this weekend, so shout out to the many friends of the show who I saw this weekend, including Arthur, who is a member of the show rather than a friend of the show. Also to shout out to the current sports director at WPTS, who is reviving Pitt Club Dodgeball because of a tweet that we made about that. So we'd love to see it. Arthur, you will be pleased to know that the staff sponsor of Pitt Club Dodgeball is exactly who you would think it is.
Brigit, how are you?
I'm good. I'm here. I've been glued to my computer for the last week watching dogs run across Alaska. And I got to tell you, it's real nice.
It is. I mean, we'll get to some of that. I missed the moose punch talk last time. But we can now talk about whether that penalty was justified or not. Did he dress the moose properly? There's so much.
There's a whole section about just that.
Oh, I'm excited. Adam, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. I have not been able to watch much sports at all because I have been working on a massive renovation of our house, which those in the Discord will have seen some photos of. It's a complete gut of our kitchen, our living, and our dining room, and it is a lot. We're getting close.
I do want to mention, Pitt Girl mentioned Club Dodgeball, and I do want to throw in that, interestingly enough, the current rankings on Club Dodgeball, by the way, at the top 10, I'll go from 10 to 1. Actually, I'm going to go from 11 to 1, because 11 and 10 are funny. 11, Kent State. 10, Akron. So close. 9, Miami of Ohio. 8, Nebraska. 7, Penn State. 6, James Madison. 5, Ohio. 4, Grand Valley State. 3, Michigan State. 2, Cincy. 1, Ohio State. There is so much MAC in the top 25, like throughout that. And like Wisconsin and D2 Michigan. Apparently the Midwest is where you go to play dodgeball. It's really intense. The only team from outside that is basically number 23, Georgia Southern, and number 24, Ole Miss.
I'm sorry, Jordan. Did you just imply that Pennsylvania is the Midwest?
Yes, I did. I did do that.
Do you want to fight tonight?
I also said James Madison was in the Midwest too, which I think is also funnier. So yeah, this is like, apparently it's a very Midwest heavy sport. Michigan State won last year, I believe, but the MAC is where you go if you want to play dodgeball. It's good to see ACC Power Pins. Pitt is coming in there. I was at ACC Power Penn State. I know, right?
That's a cursed idea.
That's
so unpleasant.
Yeah.
That's such an unpleasant idea. Yeah, I'm so glad that Pitt is reviving Club Dodgeball because we're haranguing people. I believe the hurling final was also this weekend.
Oh,
and
that's promising.
Is it next weekend?
It's next weekend, yeah.
Because
the
Pitt,
NCGAA, yeah.
Yeah, because of course Pitt won hurling last year.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, but your Montana Grizzlies are going to be part of the hurling final this year, so watch out for them.
Oh.
Yeah,
they're playing
Thomas Meagher, which is a club hurling this week in Missoula in preparation for the final.
Hurling is just like it's like Irish lacrosse, I believe, or like field hockey. I don't know.
Kind of.
Yeah.
When I was in Ireland, it's interesting too because I like Irish traditional sports are in some ways kind of comparable to college sports because it's not professional, but it kind of is, but it's not. And we were treated to a demonstration of some of the Irish traditional sports when I was there, and the stick is sort of lacrosse-ish, but kind of not. It's interesting. It's between field hockey and lacrosse. I would say
it's a bit like a field hockey stick with rules that are a bit like rugby and a bit like soccer, and it's really interesting once you sort of understand how it works. It's very fast-paced, which makes it really fun. It's one of the oldest sports in Ireland. Hi, Irish person checking in, telling you all about Irish sports because you didn't ask. And it's really fascinating. If you have like a local hurling like club, go watch it. Go find clips on YouTube. People upload them. It's a really it's neat. You just sort of have to know what's going on. Otherwise, you're like, okay, they're hitting, and sometimes they're carrying the ball, and sometimes they throw the ball, and I'm not sure what's happening right now.
Some teams that will be playing there for hurling include UConn, Montana, Cal, Pitt, Purdue, and Notre Dame. So if you've got money on that. For Gaelic football, which is also being held, we have Purdue, 2 Notre Dame teams, UConn, and Navy. There you go. Those are your Gaelic football teams. We are, by the way, starting to compile things. People have already been dropping me being like, so-and-so won yearbook championship again. Don't worry, folks. We're compiling. We'll get everyone there. That's a summer thing. Hold your horses. We got to get through all NCAA first, including track and field, which we just did all of indoor track and field. Congratulations. Beth's not here, but I am going to say it before she gets here. Congratulations to TCU for their shooting championship. In West Virginia was pretty favored. So, yeah, that was fun. And then Colorado won skiing. So good for them. We had the weirdest bit of skiing gatekeeping in our mentions last night. I don't know if you were on the account, but someone asked me what kind of teams win NCAA skiing, and I posted the list. And Utah's won a bunch. Denver is probably the best, like the dynasty team, but things like that. But Dartmouth and Vermont have won. And someone was like, "Where do they go skiing 2,000 miles away? You can't practice skiing in just the Appalachians. Those aren't real mountains." And then it turned into a giant thing in our.
Oh no!
Ugly. I almost went. Well, actually, Dartmouth has a ski.
They have their own ski slope.
We have our own ski slope, yeah. But that felt like a really douchey thing to say, so I didn't want to be that person to be like, excuse me, we have a ski slope on campus.
You can tactically deploy the douchitude, and that was a good opportunity for it.
I fully agree, especially when it comes to people gatekeeping skiing, which is already it has its whole thing around being gatekeepy to begin with. Please, yeah, do it.
Yeah, man, at Dartmouth, we had our own ski slope, buddy.
Thanks, Commish. I was gonna open like that, except I couldn't quite remember the voice because that's a voice y'all used for me last week when I wasn't here. Thank you. Sure, it works. It's fine. Commish, how are you, sir?
Good. Would you like some Kraft dinner, bunny?
God.
Are you gonna go hunt for treasure?
Y'all, I was editing that episode trying to find clips, and I got to that part, and I just start losing it.
I was muted for most of that because I was cry laughing.
Yeah. I can imagine.
It was difficult because I saw them like reacting, and I'm like, I gotta hold it together. This ridiculously horribly bad impersonation. I've had some of my friends reach out to me like, now Jordan has to do you, like he has to do impersonation of me. And I would love.
Does your voice go that deep?
Can we get Jordan to talk that slowly? Is the question.
No. It would just be the Justin Wilson I guarantee. That's my entire impression of you.
Get that deep, yeah. I love it.
Very bad, yeah. Just a very bad Paul Prudhomme.
On the podcast that Beth and I just recorded about fight songs, which we're calling Yes, Rah, 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 Yes is the name we're going with. I asked Beth what voice she is, and she's a soprano. And I asked Beth to guess what voice I am. And she guessed a tenor, which pretty close because my voice pitch is pretty high. But I'm actually just a very bad baritone with a very narrow range. And the worst part is for opera to be in baritone, you have to be able to grow a beard, which I cannot do. Because every baritone in opera it's a beardy part, and I just can't do it. So for lots of reasons, my opera career is already in the shitter before it even started. Anyone have any fun things to share about basketball that you've enjoyed this last couple of days? Iowa managed to win the women's title, the women's Big Ten title, in a great game against Nebraska. It went to overtime. It was just an absolute explosion. Pitt Girl, you got to see Pitt basketball. How was that?
I did. It was great. Shout out to a friend who will remain nameless for his own protection's little brother who will remain nameless for his own protection for successfully sneaking me into the student section. That was great.
Ooh.
Yes, very good. I would also like to take this moment before I start yelling about Joe Lunardi to appreciate the halftime entertainment at the Pitt game this weekend, which was a local 5th grade basketball team. They were amazing. They were chucking up so many threes and also layups. And I don't know that I have ever seen a team on either end of the ball try so hard and hit the rim so many times. But they did both score. They finished the game tied 2-2, and the zoo and everybody else cheered so loud for all of the points. So 10 out of 10, shout out to the 5th graders. I would also like to take this moment to ask Joe Lunardi formally what kind of drugs he is on.
So talk that one out, because some people aren't following the Bubble Watch stuff.
Yeah, so Bubble Watch, which I am not a huge Bubble Watcher, and Kevin, please interject here if you have takes. But Joe Lunardi is the biggest name bracketologist. He works for ESPN. He puts out a screenshot of a Word document every so often with his views on what the seeding is going to be, and next 4 in, last 4 in, first 4 out, next 4 out, up, down, whatever. And Pitt has been sitting in the next 4 out for the last couple weeks, despite being in the 40s in net and having a decent KenPom rating and all of this stuff, because they lost to Missouri in November. Primarily because they lost to Missouri in November.
Well, I mean, so I think it's worth pointing out a couple things. One, Joe Lunardi is... the only reason he's the most notable bracketologist is because he's ESPN's guy.
Yes.
He is not more accurate than other bracketologists. When it comes to Pitt, basically what he says is and what I agree with him is that Pitt, it's not just that they lost to Missouri, but they played a really, really terrible non-conference schedule. Pitt has one of the worst non-conference strength of schedules in the country. And the selection committee has shown over the years that if you are a team squarely on the bubble, if they're choosing between two teams, they're always going to pick the team that didn't play a terrible non-conference schedule. I mean, basically, it's not like they are giving extra weight to the non-conference strength of schedule. It's more like if you rank in the 300s, then they're just not going to pick you if it's at all close. So yeah. Pitt has a situation where they need to be above the bubble, not on the bubble. And I think that his rankings kind of reflect that. So I think that, he is just, he's telling it like it is. I would not be surprised if the tournament ended today if he was right.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's just facially weird and dumb about it is then having Villanova in the last 4 in or next 4 in when they are 17 and 15, if I recall correctly.
I think that
and can't even win the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia. I think Villanova took care of themselves. I think I took care of themselves this weekend. I think they have given everyone a reason to not put them in, which I think is nice of them. It's always good when a team just guts themselves.
That is accurate. Anyway, Joe Lunardi, catch me outside.
Yeah. Hey, Commish, I think that we should hire next year a full-time bracketologist. By hire, I mean we'll just pick one of us who's not good at bracketology or not good at college basketball.
Okay.
And just put out the same Word document.
Okay.
Because it doesn't because literally Pitt Girl's not joking. It's a Word doc. Like it's not a fancy graphic. ESPN has all this graphic stuff. It's just a Word doc. Right.
I can do graphics in Word.
This is easy. Oh yeah.
That's the ones I can handle.
So I think that we should just
Do we want to add commentary on the Balkans in there too?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Balkan bracketology. Hey, guess what? Bottom. You're on the bubble, and by the bubble I mean you're gonna be
16 seed.
Hi Beth.
Hi.
We got everyone here. We got 8 people on this podcast. Holy shit. I don't know. So we're 8. We'll see.
If is on the bubble and they're, maybe they get the play-in game, do we send to Dayton?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So.
Hey, where else
Dayton
do you have
Accords.
piece of chords but in Dayton? Thank you very much.
Dayton, Ohio.
You have your piece of chords in Dayton, Ohio.
It's all right.
You're going to have to get the involved here too, you realize, right?
Yes, exactly.
So can we start calling it Macedayton?
Ooh.
I was thinking we should start calling the first 4, like whatever we call the first 4, we should call those the Dayton Accords every year. It just seems good. I don't know. Anyways, that's where basketball stands.
What is that thing that they do with like all the billionaires in like Switzerland? What is it called? Is it Davos?
Davos.
It is Davos.
Yeah, it's Daytonos.
Hey, do you want to do you want to make our own? What's the one where they all worship an owl statue out in California?
Bohemian Grove?
Do
you want to do our own Bohemian Grove thing? We could do that. We can start doing that.
Yeah.
ourselves.
No, the next time Rice has a surplus sale, we're buying all of the giant owl merch.
Okay.
And we are building our own Bohemian Grove.
Cool. Okay, just making sure.
Calm Susur Shreveport.
Mm-hmm. If you're in California and you walk a bunch of people like in robes worshiping a giant owl statue, you go, oh, these are just like tech nerds who have too much time. If you see that in fucking Shreveport or in the middle of Louisiana, they're doing magic. They're actually bringing down spells.
Is this not canonically in Shreveport, Pennsylvania, yet to exist?
Oh, that is true. Yes. Well, in Shreveport, Pennsylvania, I assume they're making a dish. I assume that it's something called like owl pot pie, and it doesn't have a crust on it. And yeah, I don't know. I made a chicken pot pie the other day, and I was just happy that I made it. And I was like, it has a crust. I'm happy.
No, it's made out of tater tots, but it's got different colored tater tots that are in the
yes.
shape of the owl.
I like that.
And then it's got like cheese around it to
chicken and waffle owls.
emphasize.
Ooh.
I mean, isn't that just owl and waffles?
Uh-huh. But you have to get owl-shaped waffles too. Oh, I like this. I still have an idea that I think I'm going to do for the real off-season. Like once this is all over, that I'm going to buy a waffle maker and I'm going to make different state shape waffles and figure out what the best waffle shape is for states. Beth, you and I are going to have to work on this one because I'm going to need some help figuring out how to like foil things in. Because I can't buy 50 waffle makers in different state shapes, y'all. I just can't do it.
Not with that attitude.
Not with that. My wife would just be so angry. I can't do it, y'all.
I would imagine that a West Virginia waffle iron would be wonderful at getting incredibly crispy waffle appendages.
It's like that.
Just wildly unevenly cooked.
To say nothing of a Maryland-shaped one.
Right.
A Rhode Island one is 3 seconds and you're done.
It's like that everyone has, at least everyone of, like all my parents and their friends have for Easter a cast iron lamb cake mold. It's like 2 halves, and certain parts get crispy and others you have to foil the ears or else the ears get like charred right away. For some reason everyone has one of these things. I don't fucking know why. But yeah, we have lots of more basketball stuff coming up. I feel we're not going to hit the big stuff yet. Congratulations to the teams that have punched their tickets. I really did appreciate Commish. Thank you for the idea to do the quote unquote punch tickets by doing an Apple Wallet ticket. That was Comish's idea. Thank you very much for that idea.
I do like the QR code, so y'all should click that, and wherever it takes you, buy stuff.
Just buy stuff from there. You say that, and now I'm like, I could swap that out for the next set and send it to something that just financially supports me. Let's see here. Iditarod update. Brigit, what you got?
I have a long series of updates, at which point I will tag out because there's just a lot to get to. Just a warning ahead of time, there are a couple bummers in here. I will tell you where they are and how far ahead to skip.
There you go.
Okay, Iditarod update. By the time you hear this, the race will likely be over. As of Sunday, March 10th, as we record this, the top 20 teams are making their way from Caltag to Unalakleet and up to Shaktoolik on the Norton Sound on their way to Nome. This is the final stretch of the race, and the part where strategy really plays a part. The checkpoints are about 40 miles apart here on the shore, with 7 from Unalakleet to Nome. You have Unalakleet, Shaktoolik, Koyuk, Elam, White Mountains, Safety, and then the finish in Nome. Okay. Last year's champion, Ryan Reddington, really let his dogs come flying as he came into Caltag. Paige Drobny had the fastest time into Nulato, and her team of young 3- and 4-year-old dogs looks fantastic. Dallas Seavey served his time penalty when he took his mandatory 24-hour rest in Cripple, meaning he and the dogs rested for a total of 26 hours. Okay, here's a bummer. If you listened to last week's show or just on the internet last week, you'd like to see the saga of the moose punching incident and the moose gutting incident. Mm-hmm. Dallas acknowledges that he didn't properly gut the moose and that he had to shoot, and graciously accepted the penalty. The whole experience can be said to be traumatic, especially after having had a snow machine hit his team on the Denali Highway this past winter. Here's your content warning for dog injuries and deaths. So skip ahead about 10 seconds if you don't want to hear this. But 2 of his team died in the crash and 7 were injured.
Oh no.
So yeah. So you can see how he kind of go fight or flight mode in that instance. During an interview with the Iditarod Insider in Cripple, he said how he thought what had happened and what he thought he said to the race judges via InReach wasn't what happened or what he'd said, and he ended up questioning his own memory about what happened, needing time to regroup and sort it all out. So there you go. Moose punching. Funny, lighthearted. Everything else, a bummer. Say hi to my dog. That's Thelma. She's a coonhound, and she's hungry. Back to the race. Dallas is making up time and running in the top 6.
Can you say one more thing?
Yeah.
The Dallas's dog that got injured in the moose incident,
Faloo. Yes, Faloo is fine. Faloo is back home, getting lots of love, a lot of care. Got really good care from the Iditarod vets. Dallas talked to the vet who initially worked on Faloo when they came into the checkpoint in, I want to say, Finger Lake. And he just said he was really thankful that the vet was there. And he knows his dogs are tough, but he was willing to, accept whatever happened. But he's like, these dogs are tough, and I know they can make it. So Faloo is good. Faloo is
awesome.
fine.
Okay.
Everyone's fine. Dallas just had a really rough experience.
A really bad trip, yeah.
Yeah, very, very bad time. Okay, so anyway, he's currently running. Before I had to turn off the Insider before this, but he was running in first. On Saturday night, 5 of the 6 teams bunched up in Caltag, with the bottom 3 of the top 6 all arriving at the checkpoint within 10 minutes of each other. Travis Beals was in first at the time, and then he went through the checkpoint and rested at a cabin about 20 minutes outside of Caltag as part of his strategy. Sometimes mushers will skip a checkpoint and go camp a little ways past, so other mushers can't see them or check out their teams. Alaska has safety cabins all over the state, but especially along the Iditarod for people to use. And these along the coast are for people to, wait out the weather. They all bunched up at a safety cabin about halfway to Unalakleet. And it was really intense watching the tracker this morning to see who was going to leave and when. So this afternoon, about 12:30 Alaska time, Jesse Holmes was the first to reach Unalakleet. Dallas Seavey was right on his tail 10 minutes later, stopping only to grab some supplies from his drop bags and heading back out toward Shaktoolik to a safety cabin. Jesse rested for about 4 hours in Unalakleet and is now on to the final stretch. This is one of the more technical sections of the trail, as it's mostly just flat and white without things like trees or mountains to break up the scenery. Not only is it a test for the dogs, it's also a test for the mushers who've been sleep deprived for a week already. You'll get in, you'll take care of your dogs, you'll get maybe half an hour of sleep, 2 at the most. Thanks, Thelma. We also had our first scratch of the race this morning in rookie Erin Altimus of Grand Marais, Minnesota. She made it all the way to Ruby, which is over halfway through the race, and she was just giving an interview as I was coming to record here, and she just had a really rough go of it on the way to Ruby. Sometimes that happens, but she was feeling pretty broken up about it. And then rooker Connor McMahon of Yukon Territory, Canada, also just scratched a little bit ago in Galena. So here's the content warning here for dog deaths. So skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear it. We also had Isaac Tieford scratched just now because he, and again, bummer warning, unfortunately had a dog pass just outside the new lotto checkpoint. That's administered aid for about 2 hours, but couldn't save the dog. I won't speculate, but I do just want to emphasize how rare this is and how horrible it is for everyone involved. Tieford was running Dallas CB's B team this year, so this also sucks again for Dallas. The Iditarod instituted a rule in 2019 that a musher must voluntarily drop out if one of their dogs dies or they'll be withdrawn. And the exception is for things like an unpreventable hazard, like a moose encounter.
Gotcha.
Okay. So now that you're back, I do just want to shout out the Iditarod vets. Watching the live stream, you can see the work they're putting in, checking on the dogs, working with mushers to make sure everyone is feeling healthy, offering advice or helping work out soreness or stiffness, and just doing an amazing job making sure every dog is cared for and healthy throughout the race. They volunteer their time coming from all over the world to care for these dogs, and they're doing incredible work. So back to scratches. Yesterday, I asked two of the hosts, Greg Heister and Bruce Lee, when was the last time we made it 6 days into the race with no scratches? And this seems to be the first year without any scratches this late, so that's really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I asked, and they're like, we'd have to call a statistician, but I don't ever recall this happening. So it's just today that you've started to see more of the scratches in the back of the pack.
That makes sense. This feels like the time of the race where it would finally start getting rough.
Like sometime, yeah. But everybody's started keeping up together and doing a really good job. Let's see. The group of mushers have done amazing this year. You have rookie Josie Tier running in the top 20, keeping right on the tail of the veterans, which is really cool to see. And a musher is classified as a rookie until they finish the Iditarod, but only true rookies running their first race are eligible for Rookie of the Year.
Gotcha.
We also had a moment of uncertainty with Deke Noctiborgan, who had to turn around and go back to New Lotto. And his kennel just posted an update that ice on the trail popped and scared his dogs. So he's back at the checkpoint waiting until they're ready to go again. Going into the finish, the mushers will all have to stop for 8 hours one more time when they reach White Mountain, which will bunch everyone up again before the end of the race. They'll also be given the bibs they wore at the ceremonial start and the official restart and wear them into the end. I also just want to give a huge shout out to the Iditarod Insider team. They had 3 camera teams jumping from checkpoint to checkpoint, including broadcasting from places they've never broadcast before, like Shaktoolik. Each one has had wonderful, incredibly informative content, and the live chat has been a great way to get information. Even if you just follow along via GPS, it's a really cool way to follow the race and learn more about it as you do. Lastly, the most important part, an update on our girl Mila Porsold.
Yes.
So she had pancreatitis prior to the race start. Mm-hmm. And then a flare-up into Katna, meaning she had to take her 24 probably earlier than she wanted. She was flying prior to this, reaching checkpoint Nikolai for the first time in her career and leading for quite a ways. She and the team appear to be doing much better now. She's running the top 10 and making great time. Right before our recording started, she pulled into Unrepeated, running in 8th place. So all our good thoughts and prayers for her and the team to finish healthy and strong. And our final fun fact, which I found out on the Insider broadcast, is that Millie Porsold is the ultimate sicko because she still uses an iPod Shuffle because she says the battery lasts almost the entire race, and that's the reason she loves to use it.
Yeah.
Sorry. I wonder how long the Microsoft Zune would have lasted.
Which I'm trying to think of. I had 2 shuffles. I had the original shuffle, which was the USB stick.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I had the Clippy one. The Clippy one I think is the one she has because the Clippy one literally.
Yeah, the Clippy one has like the mega battery.
Because like I got mine for like $50 and it would last for days and days and days.
See, you say the Clippy one, and my brain goes, "Hey, it looks like you're trying to run the Iditarod."
Would you like some music?
Those things also aren't very big, so that playlist is not super long, y'all. I mean, even you can swap it out every day when you get to like a checkpoint. That's still a lot of the same music.
Well, no, because like you wouldn't be able to like your laptop would probably like just freeze, right?
Oh, that is
like,
true. Yeah,
it's like it's getting to be like negative like 25, 30 below on the coast, like without the wind.
Not the best for your electronics. Brigit, thank you so much as always. That is like. I've been following this more closely than I have any other year, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Thank you for bringing
Yeah, it's super fun. If people listen to this early Tuesday morning, there's a special for the Iditarod Insider. If you want to sign up for $15 American, you can watch the last 48 hours of the race. And you can watch the end of the race in Nome.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
Also, by the way, Oppenheimer won Best Picture.
It was a good movie.
I haven't seen any of the movies nominated. The last movie that I saw was the Super Mario Brothers in the theater. That's it.
Solid movie.
I mean, not good enough for an Oscar, but
y'all, I have to admit that I did go see Dune 2, and it's taking me all of my effort to not just spend every podcast since then talking about how much I love Dune 2.
I have
Dune 2 is
Let's
very
talk about
good.
Dune.
Because I'm a Dune nerd.
I've-
I'm a Dune nerd for like way back. Like I'm the person that read all the books. Like I love it, and the movie I was also super happy about, and I just don't want to be that person.
I mean, we've got way too much on the agenda for tonight to talk about movies.
There we go.
I will save my questions about Jordan's opinions about David Lynch Dune for another show.
Oh, that is going to be a whole. I can give you plenty of opinions there. Commish,
Can we do a special episode just about the different Dunes?
Fuck yeah, we can.
I would
we can
like
do it.
to be
We can
a part
literally
of that.
do whatever we want. That's the nice thing about this. We're in charge. It's wonderful.
We are the adults.
Yes,
no.
that's the scary. That's a scary fucking thing. Technically, we're in
That's
charge.
the scariest thought.
Yeah, no shit. Commish, what is Big 12 tournament food?
What?
On the show notes, I had Big 12 tournament food.
I have no idea.
Who says this?
I don't know who typed in Big 12 tournament food. I don't know.
Okay, skip.
Do
Fine.
we have anything?
I don't know.
Somebody.
I put that there. I don't know. It just felt like something we'd talk about. If you guys don't have any thoughts on the special food for each school, then
I have not looked at it. Like, here we go.
I don't know
you haven't
anything
looked
about
at
this.
Here, list it up. I got this. Cowtown loaded tots. This is for TCU. Spicy queso. Let's see here. Tots loaded with spicy queso, chopped house smoked brisket, corn, black bean salsa, and then topped with horn frog purple sour cream. Okay. Baylor brisket sliders, Dr. Pepper glazed brisket sliders, the Masked Rider burger. This is a Texas Tech item burger with Red Raiders barbecue sauce. Big Bertha loaded baked potato. That's the University of Texas, named after their big ass bass drum. It's a baked potato with house brisket and a bunch of other stuff. Shasta's brisket tacos for Houston. This is chopped beef brisket taco. Cosmos churros for BYU, since I guess they do the cougar tail. Oklahoma onion burger, the classic. The OSU orange power pizza. If your pizza is orange, you have too much grease on it. I'm just gonna say. UCF Citronaut drink, an orange soda float with ice cream. I'll buy it. Cincy Coney cheese dog with Cincinnati style chili. The ISU green chili pork walking taco.
Wait, hang on a second. I have a question about the Cincinnati chili dog. Does that mean that you're putting spaghetti on a hot dog?
I mean, you have to, right? I'd do that, but apparently not.
Because the point about Cincinnati chili is both that we have put chocolate in it and we have put it upon spaghetti and topped that with just so much cheese.
And onions, and I'd put spaghetti on there. The walking taco, by the way, has green chili pork on Doritos. Big J's loaded mac and cheese for Kansas. Power Cat PB&J, a fried PB&J. The Mountaineer pepperoni roll.
Yeah, that feels right.
It looks pretty good. Like it looks like a reasonably authentic attempt.
Yeah, that looks right.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
The Big 12 dog, which is an taco. Taco. Shit, that would be funny. A Big 12 dog is a hot dog with all the fixins, including black sesame seeds. Sure, why not?
What does all the fixins mean? Because if it really is Big 12, it should be a whole bunch of condiments that don't make any goddamn sense together.
Ketchup, mustard, red cabbage slaw, black sesame seeds, diced white onions, spicy cheese sauce, and sauteed orange peppers. No,
that makes more sense. Yeah. It needs to have chocolate ice cream and anchovies on it before I'm willing to sign on to say that is an authentic Big 12 recipe.
Like, these all sound like very reasonable things. None of this is making me go crazy. I think the one that worries me the most is simply a fried Pride PBJ at a game, like a tournament, feels weird.
The K-State PB&J is the one that feels disrespectful to me, and I can't quite put my finger on why that is.
No one else is bothered by TCU having purple sour cream.
I mean,
no one else has kept sour cream in their fridge much too long, like I have.
Does it turn purple? It's more like green and blue.
You were growing purple mold, Beth?
Depends on how long you keep it in there, y'all.
Mm.
By the way, Dr. Pepper does go great with like barbecues and stuff.
I thought you were going to say expired sour cream.
Oh God.
Okay,
you're setting the food crime sign to 0.
The fried PBJs look more like empanadas, and I like that. That's better. I like that better.
That's just you deep fried an Uncrustable. Let's be clear about what happened.
It kind of looks what they look like. They just cut an Uncrustable in half, and then they deep fried it and threw a little powdered sugar on top.
Trying to find more pictures of things.
I kind of feel like they should have tried slightly harder for UCF. Like,
okay,
I mean, I'm into an orange creamsicle float, but like, try a little harder.
Beth, I need you to look at the picture I just dropped in the chat. It's 21 megs of picture. Jesus Christ! The purple sour cream's in this picture, by the way.
Whenever
I'm waiting to load.
Just wait. Yeah. It's a 21 meg picture. What do you want from me?
There's so much picture.
That used to be 4 days of download.
Oh, that is very purple. That's
it's
unsettling.
Very purple.
A dairy product should not be that color.
What I realized they should have done.
That's almost pickled beet.
I was gonna say they should have just used pickled onion.
Yeah, it looks like
pickled onion would have been the exact same thing and would have not have been a sin against the color of.
And also fits with that. It would taste good.
It looks like the Heinz purple ketchup. That's what it looks like.
Oh, it does.
It's the exact same color as the Easy Squeeze Heinz purple ketchup.
It does. Oh, I am gonna drop. I believe this is the Big 12 dog, and it just looks like the saddest thing ever.
The sad hot dog symbolizes the unity of the Big 12.
Like the meat is bigger than the bun, which is
that's because it's a foot long, and foot long buns have to be made in special bakeries.
But this is like, what else describes the Big 12 besides like there's too much meat, not enough bun? You know, there's so many teams, but we can't contain them in any sort of shape. That wiener goes from Arizona to Morgantown, but the bun she does not.
That's poetry, my friend.
God, I thought so. Anyways, God.
I would like to address the Big 12's understanding of the color orange as well. Look at the float in the middle of that image.
Oh. That's the float?
It's the only thing in there that appears to have ice cream.
Why did someone put ice cream in Guinness?
Yeah, that's not orange. That's not orange cream. That's, yeah, okay.
If you were a bartender, has anybody ever put ice cream in Guinness to your knowledge?
I mean, I've had Guinness ice cream.
I mean, there's been Bailey's Irish cream put in Guinness. I mean, that throw some whipped cream and you kind of got something there.
I can't decide if that is an ice cream scoop in it, or if we did like the food styling thing where you just take a bunch of frozen butter and put a big old glop of that in there.
Ooh, yeah, I'm not sure. I think that more tournaments should do things like this, but I would love to see like the Horizon League try to come up with unique things for all of their teams.
What kind of peppers are they using as like the background peppers images? Pepper knowers.
Oh, those are like those are sweet peppers. Like
those are
like
mini bell peppers. Those are the little bell peppers.
Yeah, they're not like even interesting peppers. And then that's some like sad ass kale there. It looks like looks like it's set up like a Pizza Hut salad bar. That's what the setup looks like.
Shout out to Pizza Hut for being the world's largest buyer of kale for a really long time, and until people started also eating kale.
Yeah, not to eat it, mind you, just to decorate the fucking salad bars.
It's important to prettify your salad bars.
Before we go into our half, let's go in our ads. Let's talk about the 87 Wildcats. Because Kevin, I think you got something for us here.
Which Wildcats? I do. So when I was working through the Thanos data with Commish for finding all of our teams that have ever gone 500 in a season. We came out at the end, and there were 3 teams that had completely unique records that, as far as I could tell, had never happened at any other point in the history of the sport.
We're calling this recordagami
level.
Recordagami? No more agami. I'm done with
so
that.
I am tentatively calling this section "No One Else Did It Like Us." Willie will run that through our Sickos acronym machine and/or danger at some point and come up with a better name. But I want to talk about the 1987 Arizona Wildcats, who went 4-4-3. And if you look at the table of their games that I've put in the chat there, they did not have 2 consecutive results of the same type at any point in the season.
This would have made a really nice scarf pattern.
I'm sorry.
It looks like somebody just like patterned a table, but
it's like when the Swifties were like knitting blankets out of which album the surprise songs were from.
Yeah, can we make a school tartan out of this?
Yes, we can. I can't even fathom loss, win, tie, win, loss, win, tie, loss, tie. That's a lot.
So, like I said, they went 4-4-3. They went 2-3-3 in the Pac-10. The Wildcats were coached by Dick Tomey in his first season with them. He came in to replace Larry Smith, who had left to coach USC. He had led Arizona to a 48-28-3 record in 7 seasons at the school, and they had finished number 11 in the AP poll the previous season in 1986. Tomey came in from Hawaii, where he was very successful with them, took the team to their first ever top 20 AP ranking, and led the team through the transition from independent to being a member of the WAC.
Whoa. The San Jose State Hawaii game is named the Dick Tomey game.
Yes. He would go on to coach San Jose State
cool.
later in his career, and they did rename the game after him. So
He
it is that
the
Dick
least
Tomey.
Hawaiian person imaginable.
Yeah, I mean, not a Hawaiian dude at all.
No, but I do love that picture that I found of him. That chin is incredible, and the hair looks like it was spray painted on. But, that I believe is from like 1973 or something. That was well before he made it to Arizona. Tomey ran the run and shoot. So they were installing a new offensive system, which, quote, focused on putting more options into normal plays, which I think is just...
Who wouldn't love that?
Yeah, do more. They picked up a couple of transfers from death penalty SMU going into the 1987 season. Junior quarterback Bobby Waters, who had thrown for over 2,000 yards with SMU the season before, would only play for the Wildcats in 3 games this season. And they also picked up a starting offensive lineman from SMU.
Everyone was getting SMU players at that point.
Oh yeah.
The story goes that basically every team had scouts like in the parking lot at SMU, ready to sign people that day.
They're like vultures.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was definitely carry on like roadkill on the side of the road, and everyone was ready to swoop in. Love you, SMU. Enjoy the ACC.
You're welcome.
Arizona's quarterback for the majority of this season was a freshman from Florida named Ronald Veal.
Okay.
He played in 10 games, threw for over 1,200 yards, and rushed for over 500. Had a exactly 49% completion rate. And they're
going 4-4-3 with having exactly almost a 50% completion rate. Like, this is the most mid team I think I've ever heard of.
Yeah, their strength was their defense. But as I mentioned, they're installing a new offense. They're figuring some things out. Their lead running back, they had a rotation of guys coming through, but the lead back was someone with the spectacular name of Art Greathouse, who was described in the yearbook as displaying speed and quickness and whose size tends to punish opposing tacklers. Wonderful. Which is just like, ask, a 5-year-old to describe a running back, big and fast. So yeah, I've got a picture of him in there. Their defense was led by All-American defensive back Chuck Cecil, who was, I believe, Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year that year, would go on to play in the NFL, and is currently on their coaching staff.
Oh, cool.
And the Singleton twins, Chris and Kevin, were linebackers there, and they have some truly phenomenal photos of them in the yearbook as well. Very, very 80s pads going on here. Yeah, so Cecil was the safeties coach under Jed Fish and is now a defensive analyst for the offense in a new position that Brent Brennan has created.
Oh, nice.
Arizona opened the season hosting our favorite Iowa Hawkeyes. This was Hayden Fry, Bill Snyder, Iowa. They had opened a week 0 game against Tennessee that they lost, so they were going in to their second game of the season. Mark Stoops was on this team. He had a key fumble recovery later in the game. And I want to shout out Hawkeye Recap for keeping very, very detailed notes of every single Iowa game ever, as far as I can tell. Iowa kicked 3 field goals in the first half to take a 9-7 lead into the half. Arizona scored in the third quarter to go up 14-9, and then Iowa took a 74-yard late game scoring drive, capped off with a 2-yard run to score their only touchdown of the game and win the game 15-14. Iowa has always been like this.
Oh, God.
All 3 of their field goals were under 25 yards.
That's just, oh, God. Commish had me looking for something the other day. Some field goal like miss or attempt numbers, and we found some field goals that we were just like, if you're gonna try from that close, you better fucking hit it. And there were some that they just didn't.
It just missed. It was
like a 31-yard field goal or something, and just going like, oh, I hope it was raining. I hope it was windy. I hope that God was angry at you, because it's hard to explain that otherwise.
I mean, at a certain point on the field, it actually gets harder to kick it, but that's like inside the 5.
Right. I mean, yeah, because you're right, because then you're at the hash and that's weird. But yeah,
21 yards, 30 yards, that's a different story.
Arizona had a late chance to win this game, 5 minutes left in the game. Their kicker, Gary Costin, who would go on to be the second most accurate field goal kicker in the country this season, missed his first field goal of the season from 46 yards, and they lost the game. We have a picture of Mark Stoops, number 41 here. Just some large lads in very big pads. I have
listener, we can't overstate the size of the pads. They're very large.
I think large lads in big pads might have to be our 1980s segment every week.
There's a YouTube video that this entire game is on YouTube. I have it timestamped, and I dropped that in the Discord to Mark Stoops. That is Mark Stoops forcing the fumble and recovering it. That is mentioned in the game summary.
Oh, that's amazing.
So yeah, peruse that as you wish. Their second game of the season was a 20-9 win over New Mexico. This is a New Mexico team that went 0-11 and was outscored 444-209.
Jesus.
Ouch. That's a problem.
Ouch.
Arizona and New Mexico used to play for a trophy called the Kit Carson rifle, which was rumored to have been owned by the frontiersman Kit Carson. Scores from each game were carved in the stock of the trophy until it was retired in 1997 due to concerns over its history of violence against Native Americans. Yeah. We support the retirement of this trophy. It does look really cool, and I would like them to have a trophy again. I think it's worth it, but they have not had a trophy since the retirement of this one.
Let's be clear. Even if this was not retired for incredibly good reasons, it was going to have to be retired anyway, because when they were carving scores into this thing, they decided to use a very big font.
Okay, they're playing next year, y'all.
Yes.
Arizona also playing next year. Someone.
Is this our time? Do we get to make a trophy?
I need you, Beth. I need you to write this down. Okay. Part of our summer planning meetings that we always have, because we have meetings where we plan things, is to make sure we have a trophy. Kevin almost choked laughing on a drink when I said that we plan things. Thanks, Kevin. We need to make sure that we get early on this and get them a trophy.
Yeah, I love how all the scores were marked in there when they were in the border conference together.
I was just thinking that this is all border conference shit.
This is border conference
and
stuff.
If you look at more pictures of this trophy, every inch of wood on it was carved by the end of it. This was just the most legible picture that I could find.
Beth, I got it here. This is a Gadsden-based trophy.
Oh, okay.
Because Tucson is in Gadsden. In Gadsden purchase territory.
Okay.
So this is going to be a Gadsden-based trophy.
Okay. Can we just like do it for Franklin Pierce's plume?
Oh yes. We don't say enough nice things about Franklin Pierce.
Or plumes.
Or plumes.
That's right.
Okay, we got this. Okay, this is good.
Hey, I had an idea. Like he said that we don't have a segment name for this.
Yeah.
And it was like no one else did it like us. So I've just been brainstorming stuff while we're doing this. So I have a name, which it's probably way too long.
Jesus Christ!
But we can do it. It is the unrepeated, unusual, unparalleled, unique, unprecedented, unequal, unreal, special Sickos seasons. The yes.
You're so bad at this.
God.
SEO is our passion.
I feel like this is pretty good. No,
we are SEO ready.
So this game is also this New Mexico Arizona game is also on YouTube in its entirety. It is the only place I could find any information on it other than the final score. So I don't have detailed stats or anything. I would like Jordan or someone who has the capability of recording the video. Can you just play the first 30 seconds or so of this? Because it is so the intro to this game is so unbelievably 80s, and I love it.
Tonight, live from Arizona Stadium in Tucson, Arizona, it's Lobo football.
Yes!
The University of New Mexico Lobos take on the University of Arizona Wildcats of the Pacific.
What's the weird Arizona logo?
Lobo football on Channel 14 is brought to you in part by Coors, the beer with a difference. Tasting Coors is the one. Coors Light, the silver bullet. There's no slowing down with the silver bullet. Ajax Mobile Homes. They've got the spirit, and it shows. Safeway.
All right, yeah, that's all. It's about as far as I made it into it.
But it's so good.
Just the music, the graphics.
God bless
so
the Roland D50 Fantasia patch. My God.
The graphics are very Tech Mobile, and I'm into it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I was really excited for Lobo football.
Friends, this is from that.
Yeah,
this is the image of this is very much in that moment in the 80s when we decided that everything should look as if the graphics were laser etched.
Yeah, it all looks like that scene in Star Wars where they're talking about the run on the Death Star.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah. It also looks like it was done on an AS400 too.
Yeah. At least that took years to render. That took someone, over the weekend. They had to walk away from that to render that. Okay, keep going. What else we got?
Yes. So third game of the season is a 34-24 loss to UCLA. This game also didn't have any detailed stats available that I could find, but UCLA was led by Troy Aikman in this season and came in ranked 13th. And it was described in the yearbook as the defense keeping it close until UCLA pulled away late. And then the following week, they hosted Bowling Green for the only meeting ever between these two schools. And Arizona beat Bowling Green 45-7. Nice. And then on October 10th, we get our first tie of the season when they travel to Cal. And the game summary on this on Wikipedia is very clearly AI written. It says, in Berkeley, the visiting Wildcats took on California. Both Arizona and the Golden Bears tied each other, and the score ended up in a tie.
Oh, God.
Is that AI? I feel like AI wouldn't write badly in that way.
Well, I mean, it could have been a close encounter of the football kind.
Did the end zone go into hibernation?
I don't know. Once it hit 13-13, it probably did.
Cal also had a first-year head coach this year, and they finished behind Arizona in the Pac-10 standings because they played one fewer conference games, because that was a thing we used to do.
You could just do that. Just however many conference games you want to play. It's vibes-based. Fuck it.
And the Cal quarterback for this game is current Stanford head coach Troy Taylor.
Oh, huh. Interesting.
The following week, October 17th, Arizona hosted Oregon State, who was 0-7 in conference this season, and coached by Dave Cragthorpe, who is the father of Steve Cragthorpe, who was also a FBS coach of Tulsa and Louisville.
Okay.
October 24th, we traveled to Washington State to lose 45-28 to another coach we all know, Dennis Erickson.
Go fucking course. Of fucking course.
Was that his 1 year at Wazoo, or he had 2 years?
He had 2 there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He had 1 year at
the Idaho, between the Idaho things.
Yeah, it was like there was like 1 year at Idaho. I think it was 86, and then he just like bounced for like 8 miles down the road to like Wazoo.
He went somewhere else for a year in between.
Wyoming, I think it was.
Idaho for a year, then he went to Wyoming, and then, yes. This was Wazoo's only conference win this season, and they would go on to end the season by tying Cal in Tokyo.
Oh.
Because every time we play a game on the other side of the Pacific, we send Cal.
Or Stanford for some reason.
Speaking of Stanford, the following week, they won 23-13 on Halloween at Stanford. This game is ranked number 5 all time on a ranking of all Arizona Stanford games that was released by a website called All Sports Tucson in 2013. Chuck Cecil set a school record and tied the Pac-10 record for single game interceptions with 4, 3 of which came in the second half.
Nice.
God. Oh my God.
Arizona receiver Derek Hill had 208 yards on 7 receptions, just big swings only. Arizona was trailing 10-6 early in the third, took the lead on a Ronald Veal touchdown run, and then the following possession, Cecil had his final interception, and then Veal threw a touchdown pass to get the Wildcats up to 23.
I want to apologize earlier. I said 13-13. It was 23-23.
There you go.
I just don't want Ben on me. Leave me alone, Ben.
No, come after me, Ben.
Come after
I'll say something wrong. Hey, you know what? LSU's colors are green, purple, and gold. I didn't know that.
Oh.
Come at me. Hey, also, is part of, I don't know.
Jordan, no.
Why are we antagonizing the Balkans?
I don't get it. He does this all the time.
Break through.
Jordan wants those road flares on Twitter, I guess.
Come at me, Balkan Twitter.
I don't even know if once.
No, of course they don't. You know who is part of and
Christ,
Now
Jordan.
that's going to cause an international
There we
incident.
go.
Sure, put occupied territory inside. We'll see what happens.
When all of a sudden my feed cuts out and it's just the sheriff logo, you'll know what happened.
This podcast
that's some insider.
by the
That's
FBI.
some insider Eastern European politics for everyone. Congratulations. Keep going, Kevin.
All right, so Stanford was Arizona's final win of the season, and we are only just now getting to November. November 7th, they hosted Washington, led by legendary Washington coach Don James in his 13th season at the school.
We need more Dons.
But we not have enough Dons? I mean, you feel like we've used all of our Dons in the 1980s?
I feel like we did. Man, he was at Kent State before that. He went straight from Kent State to the Washington job and just stayed at Washington for...
Stayed there for 20 years.
Yeah,
he led Kent State to their most successful season. We talked about this on the best season of all time.
This.
He coached Nick Saban.
He got him to a Tangerine Bowl.
He's the one. He's the one that pulled Nick Saban into coaching.
Yes.
So y'all ever play Command & Conquer Red Alert?
Yes.
So the plot of Red Alert is that someone goes back in time and ends up killing Hitler, and then that breaks time. I'm imagining someone using their time machine now to go back and kill Don James so that Nick Saban never becomes a coach. There's some LSU fan, an Auburn fan, that's finally going to invent time travel just so they can go back in time.
I don't know if an LSU fan would do that. They got a national title.
Okay, an Auburn fan absolutely would, though.
Auburn would go back and try and hire him 3 years early, and it just wouldn't go anywhere.
Imagine that, the alternate timeline where Auburn hires Nick Saban and they just still fail because it's Auburn and Auburn can't win.
Who is the head coach?
Okay. Auburn has canonically won, though. It would just.
I was thinking they'd hire Don James, but they could also just try and poach Saban before anyone.
Jordan,
knew.
I think the alternate timeline you're thinking of is the one where Mississippi State hires Nick Saban.
That would be funny. Keep going.
So November 14th, we traveled to USC and former coach Larry Smith. And this game was not televised.
I love those.
That just happens sometimes. Sometimes we just didn't record things.
Of all of the games that they chose to televise this season, we got the Bowling Green game, but we didn't get this one. It's a 12-10 defensive struggle with the former coach. Chuck Cecil had a quote in the yearbook about playing his former coach. There was definitely animosity, but I think the feeling settled down a lot. A lot of the players realized we were playing their team, and I think we played hard. So really insightful things here from Chuck. The final game of the season is where things get interesting.
Oh God, it's Territorial Cup.
As always, it's the Territorial Cup, and nothing
Christ.
normal can happen here.
Love it.
This game, going back to All Sports Tucson, they in 2012 did a list of the 50 greatest Wildcat football games, and this game, a tie, comes in at number 19.
Nice.
So that tells you a little bit about how
50 Wildcat football games that they really liked. Wow.
This same article also expresses extreme excitement for the start of the Rich Rodriguez era in Arizona.
Oh. He wasn't bad.
No, he wasn't. He was successful there. He was, 6, 8, 9 games above 500, something like that. But it was just funny to see how pumped they were for him. But so this Arizona State game has one of the wildest endings ever. I can't find anything on the first 45 to 50 minutes of the game because all anyone wants to talk about is the end. Right. Arizona State kicked a field goal to go up 24-21 with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Arizona threw an interception on the Arizona State 30-yard line on the following drive with 1 minute and 31 left in the game. Arizona's defense got the stop. With 13 seconds left in the game, Arizona State lines up to punt, and pinning the Wildcats anywhere over midfield would effectively end the game. Punter, I may mispronounce this, but I believe it's Mike Shue. Sure. Fumbled the snap and then tried to kick the ball off the ground. Chuck Cecil recovered the ball after he missed his attempted kick on the ground. Chuck Cecil recovered the ball on the 25, and Shue was flagged for an illegal kick. After the penalty, the ball is placed at the 13-yard line, and Gary Costin, who missed the field goal against Iowa to open the season, came in and made a 30-yard field goal to steal the tie for the Wildcats.
I can't believe that. That's... Yep.
It's certainly a way to tie a football game.
I got the newspaper article. I was able to search real quick. So it's from the Arizona Daily Star. First quarter, Channing Williams, 2-yard run, 9 minutes, 1 second. Alan Zendejas, extra point. So Arizona State's up 7-0. Arizona State forward 3-yard pass to Cox at 7:40. Zendejas with the PAT good. Arizona State up 14-0. Arizona then gets a 2-yard run. It is Arizona State 14-7. Second quarter, Costin a 20-yard field goal. It is Arizona State 14-10. Costin then gets another field goal, 51-yarder. It is 14-13 at halftime. Third quarter, Williams a 59-yard run. Arizona State leads 21-13. Arizona at the end of the third quarter, it's a 53-yard run. Arizona State, they also get the 2-yard run, 2-point conversion from Greathouse. It is 21-21. Then Zendejas has the 40-yard field goal with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. So it's 24-21 Arizona State. 30-yard field goal with 2 seconds left. The key play was the Arizona State punter, Mike Shue, fumbled the snap. He had trouble with the snap. Then tried to kick the ball for a penalty, an illegal kick. And that allowed this field goal to tie it.
So this was the 5th time in 10 games that a field goal in the last minute of the game decided the outcome of a game in this rivalry.
All right.
Which...
Of course it did.
So this
was also in the middle of the streak when Arizona didn't lose from 1982 to 1990. So, I think that plays a big part into why this game is, so highly beloved by Arizona fans, is because it kept the middle of that streak alive.
This really, this was the original. He had trouble with the snap.
Yes,
I'm safe to say that. Again, could have just punted it away, but no, had trouble with the snap and then did an illegal kick.
Do crimes
always?
Sure.
Arizona State's coach John Cooper was quoted after the game saying, "A tie is like kissing your sister, only if she's good looking. They might be celebrating in the other locker room, but I can tell you our players are taking it as a heartbreaking loss. It's hard to take because we thought we had it won, but the lesson we learned is the game's not over until it's over."
Point of order.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pitt Girl, you say what you're going to say, because I think any words I'm going to say are not going to be great.
Just need to take a second to talk about and then be extremely grossed out by. It's like kissing your sister, but only if she's good looking. Dude. Why are men?
This was one of 3 references to a tie using that phrase, different games that I found in researching this. And
why do we
don't know why this was a thing at the time.
So the kissing your sister part is fine. I've heard people say that. It's a little bit weird, but I sort of get it. Like, whatever. But we're going to build on top of that and then comment on our sister's attractiveness. You need Jesus. Why are men? Thank you.
There you go.
Why are men?
Yes.
Okay.
On the other hand, Arizona's coach Tomey after the game says, "I don't like ties, but we'll take this one. It's a moral victory, if nothing else."
Yes, that's
very. He then goes on to say, "This is our third tie this year, and I wish we could play them all off, but this tie is the best of them." And Coach Tomey, I agree, and also you will get your wish on that very soon, because it was less than 10 years after this when the NCAA added overtime.
That's right. Just a few years later in 1996.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
I do. There, at one point existed a highlights video of this game. It no longer does, but I was able to find embedded in another video a clip of just that field goal. So I'll drop that one in there as well. It's got really loud music over it. Don't play it on the podcast, but if you want to watch the attempted punt that draws the penalty, it's at the 104 mark in that video.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
That's right.
Hey, Commish.
That was
you
our
want to
first,
talk about some?
That was our first episode of the unrepeated, unusual, unparalleled, unique, unprecedented, unequal, unreal, special Sickos seasons. The or the
guys.
Yeah.
I will again remind you.
My dad
listens to this podcast.
Yeah.
Hello, Pitt Girl's dad.
He has a better idea. He's welcome to submit it. He's welcome to submit ideas. Okay, Commish, you want to talk about some of our new things we got going on?
Oh yeah, we got some fun stuff. The podcast we're expanding as a brand. We are getting some affiliate links. We have the 7 coffee roasters. Whenever we post that, go ahead and click that link. Order some awesome coffee. I have just set up my first cold brew. It should be ready tomorrow morning. I'm going to need it because of the spring forward. Definitely not fun, but this coffee smells amazing. I cannot wait to drink this tomorrow morning because I'm going to need it because my kids are going to wake up at 5 a.m. Thank you, spring forward. We also have the Bearded Brothers, organic vegan, Jesus Christ, organic vegan energy bars, protein bars, and kids bars. So if you don't want the Quaker oat added sugar stuff, no offense to Quaker, I feel like that's a big Pennsylvania brand, but click the link and get some awesome bars there. Also, we have cola goodies, chai tea, milk lattes. If you don't like the coffee or you don't want the energy from the energy bars, the vegan wise, we have some great chai tea from Sri Lanka, which has an awesome flag, by the way. Shout out to the, it's got a sword. I really love it. It's fantastic. We have a new sponsor, which we will probably post eventually, but it's called Pour More. It is a liquor subscription service. You can use the code YES, yes, for 5% off your first order. This is a disclaimer. They cannot ship to Utah, Mississippi, Alabama, Massachusetts, Tennessee, Hawaii, Michigan, or South Dakota.
Michigan? Get your shit together, Michigan.
I'm really surprised Pennsylvania doesn't hate fun.
I know. Well, this is a subscription service. It gives you the best craft, small batch, like any type of liquor you can think of, tequila, whiskey, rum. They have like a bartender's pack that every month they'll send you like a new bottle to make your bar better, which, Jordan really loves stuff like this. Like, I don't know if they'll have Fernet or anything like that, but Jordan will probably have to get it on his own. But this is 5% off your first order. It's awesome. Get some like awesome, high quality, I think it's about a liter of liquor just delivered to your door, and it's a fantastic deal. Go right ahead and do that. I'm gonna sign up probably for the rum one, but join us and get some crazy liquor that you probably would not explore without this liquor subscription program here.
It's always.
I will say,
good.
I was just going to say, in defense of Michigan, as somebody who lived a mile from the Michigan border in South Bend, I frequently went over to Michigan on Sundays because I could get alcohol in Indiana. So,
as always, folks, we have our Patreon and Discord for $5 a month. Join us on our Patreon. That gets you access to our Discord where we talk about everything. You can yell at me for my bad opinions in real time. And you can remind me that I'm behind on shit in real time. The other stuff we have when you get access to our Patreon, we have access to. We now have 3 Patreon exclusive podcasts. Although one of them is basically a limited run. We have Commish's Corner. We have Yes, Rah, 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 Yes, which is Beth and me talking about fight songs and school music. And then we have, coming up soon, our first episode of Commish and Blue from the Feed Your Mascot podcast, talking about the Prairie View Chronicles and the Prairie View A&M years and what went on back in the 80s at Prairie View A&M. It's a fascinating story. We have as well our merch store at sickoscommittee.org, our YouTube channel, which now has animated shorts, our Instagram, our Substack, where we're doing the best season of all time for teams that no longer have to stop having a football team. We also, of course, encourage you to listen to Message Board Geniuses podcasts. They've had some great guests recently, talking about college football. And lastly, as always, if you love soft, comfy apparel, shirts, hoodies, pants from all of your favorite colleges, Home Field Apparel has been one of our oldest sponsors. Use offer code YES, ha ha ha, yes, that's 3 ha's for 15% off your first order. And also, we right now have our Sickos Sneaky 16 Spoiler Squads, which is teams, a bunch of shirts from one bid conferences for the most part. And those shirts are all 25% off with offer code committee. If you Google Home Field Sickos Shirt Showdown, all those shirts will come up. They are there until they're not. So if you find something on there that you like, jump on it now. There's some really good stuff on there, including a Montana shirt that I absolutely love and may have to snag.
Yeah. The slobbering bear with the basketball, which is like an old school Montana. I have that Home Field Montana hat too, with the bear on it. And
so here are the schools that we have. We got Indiana State, Campbell, UC Irvine with a basketball playing anteater.
Oh yeah.
Montana, Idaho State, Idaho, James Madison, St. Peter's, Youngstown State, Fairleigh Dickinson, App State in their Kazook band competition shirt,
Nope.
Detroit Mercy, Fairfield, UNC Wilmington, Milwaukee, and Austin P.
Yeah, the Austin P shirt says "Let's go P."
What more do you want?
I mean, what more do you want? I've purchased the Detroit Titans shirt. I know they only won one game and one person stormed the court, and it was not me, but I felt like I wanted to be in that number when they won their one game. So I bought that Detroit Titans shirt. I do already have the Indiana State Sycamore shirt. I have like a bunch of this. I have the Duncan Campbell. I have way too many of these shirts. So, again, like we don't just promote home field, we wear home field. So
yes.
it is.
I am wearing a Peacock. St. Peter's Peacock.
I have a
right
home
now.
field like just plain like core collection shirt on right now. Mm-hmm. It's like the orange.
You've gone with the core collection. I was wondering. It's a nice creamsicle.
I have the core collection. I have a couple of these, like a couple of different colors, just to have them. My wife has the Idaho State 1977 Big Sky Championship shirt. I think I just got the Detroit Mercy one. I really love the Fairfield Stags one. And there's a reason for that because that's coming up on the Substack, which will be next Friday. We also have a special article coming up on the Substack, the special Sickos 7-7 teams, which I believe I let me see here. I called that the Sickos Supremely Special and Strange 7-7 Seasons. And that was written by Kevin. So it goes along with the I love doing this. This is so much fun.
Okay. For the back half of our show, we brought Adam on because Adam is our Notre Dame expert. And he's going to talk about the worst season of all time for teams who are above 600 all time. And the year Notre Dame wants you to forget Adam, go for it.
Who boy do we? Okay, so the worst season of all time for Notre Dame is obviously 1887. Michigan came to town, taught us how to play football, and then shut us out 8-0. You can go ahead and play Frolic now. But in all seriousness, that's our worst winning record of all time. That being said, a couple of honorable mentions go to 1963. We went 2-7. We lost to teams like number 6 Wisconsin, number 7 USC, number 4 Navy, number 8 Pitt, and then number 4 ranked Michigan State. Other honorable mentions go to 1960, but at least there we shut out USC 17-0 at the end of the season.
Always
so there's some redeeming value to there. And in 1963, we lost to, like I said, a lot of good teams. In 1956, maybe the biggest disappointment, Notre Dame started ranked number 3 and then went 2-8. But again, 5 of those teams finished ranked. Those are all bad, but not as bad as the worst season, which is 2007.
Yep.
I love this year for so many reasons, but it never like clicked in my head that this was Notre Dame's worst season of all time. Which, thinking about it, like 2006, it was the one where like LSU blew out Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl, and that got Jamarcus Russell drafted number 1 overall. Then this is the year after that, so Notre Dame
they're coming back. They just did the title game.
They were 10-3. They did get blown out by Jamarcus Russell and the LSU.
Charlie Weiss has it working. Charlie Weiss has figured it out at Notre Dame.
They finished.
Oh, that's such a weird sentence.
He figured it out.
Oh, he's got it working this year too, coming up.
I mean, Charlie Weiss's first 2 years were pretty good. If you go back and look, let me pull it up again. But 2005 season, they re-signed Charlie Weiss halfway through the season. Halfway through his first season, he got a contract.
Lock him in.
And then we went to the Fiesta Bowl.
And also Ohio State. But yeah, still.
So coming in, expectations were somewhat high. But man, did they go south quickly. So the first game was against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech was ranked 14th preseason. And man, this was the worst game, the worst home opener in school history. A total of 8 yards of rushing on 41 attempts.
Hold on. Georgia Tech was not ranked 14th. You're skipping ahead to next week. Georgia Tech was unranked.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Shout out to the idea of number 14 Georgia Tech.
I mean, I do like that. I mean, who is Georgia Tech's like QB at this point? Oh my God, their head coach was Chan Gailey.
Yeah, like it's not.
Their quarterback was Taylor Bennett.
No, sorry, Commish. Georgia Tech was in the AP poll.
They were?
No, they were. They were ranked in week 1 though. After beating,
they were ranked
after they were Notre Dame. They got
jumped
ranked
into the poll.
Okay, they were ranked 27th preseason.
Okay, close.
So let's see here. Pause for dramatic effect. So 8 yards of rushing on 41 attempts. This is going to be a theme throughout the season, for the record here. 3 turnovers and 9 sacks.
Yeah, I'll do it.
That's a spicy meatball.
Total points scored by Notre Dame 3. Total points scored by Georgia 33.
Georgia
this
Tech.
Was
don't
just
don't
Tech. Yeah,
don't
Georgia
insult
Tech.
the Georgia fans. They're gonna get mad. Well, Georgia fans don't listen to this podcast. I mean,
Why would you? We don't talk about you ever.
We'll take on the entire Balkans, but not Athens, Georgia.
No,
We're
I mean
gonna have a
that's
worst
probably
season of all
smart.
time for Georgia at some point, right?
Georgia's close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Georgia's closer than the Balkans. I think we're safe. There's an ocean in the way.
The Balkanization of the SEC is something that I'm very much looking forward to.
Stop it.
Total sacks will also be a theme throughout the season. We'll see that. So the next game on the schedule is this is number 14, Penn State.
Oh, no.
Boo.
The game starts off with a pick six.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Yes, it did.
The rushing stats in this game, 26 rushes for 0 yards.
Okay. Yeah,
I was about to say, is that a better average than 41 for 8? And I was like, no, you can't divide by 0.
No. The funny thing is that Notre Dame recovered 3 turnovers, and they also fumbled 3 times and recovered all of those. So in terms of turnover luck, they were doing quite well, but they got 6 sacks, which contributed very substantially to the 0 yards of rushing. And then Michigan, let's see here. Michigan, I believe, was ranked as well. I'm switching between.
You're fine. No, Michigan was not ranked because Michigan started 0-2. This was a bad Michigan year.
That's right. This was the first time in history that Notre Dame and Michigan faced each other as unranked teams.
Because that first game was Appalachian State.
Oh,
it's that
yeah, boy.
It's that season.
That's oh my god. So this is
buddy.
So again, this is 2007. This is chaos year. I forgot that they lost to App State, right? And then they got blown out by Oregon the week after that. Like 39-7.
They still ended up ranked. No one also remembers that Michigan ended up ranked 18th and went to the Citrus Bowl and beat Florida that year.
Yeah.
Like that Michigan recovered the season.
Essentially.
Also Ohio State, but that's whatever.
They had title hopes.
This is true. I just want to take this moment to remind all of the listeners who are my age or younger that App State was an FCS team at the time.
Oh yes, this is FCS.
Yes.
App
This
State.
is FCS App State.
And App did wind up going to win the FCS title that year too.
I was just going to say, they won the national title.
Michigan should have never fucking played them.
Probably not.
Again,
it's
you fuck around
kind of like scheduling North Dakota State now.
Yeah, it would have been like scheduling North Dakota State or South Dakota State now.
That is fuck
or
around and
State
find out.
Now, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So then next on the schedule, or I forgot if I mentioned it here, but Notre Dame got sacked 9 times in this game and had 33 rushes for 6 yards.
I'm
nearly broke the school record of negative 12 yards rushing.
33 rushes for 6 yards. All
Yes.
right, so their best performance is still 41 rushes for 8 yards against Georgia Tech in 3 games.
Yeah, that's down to the wire there.
Well, I'm not talking about average. I'm talking about total yards.
Oh, total yards. Yes,
8 to 6 wins there, but that's 9 sacks. But yes.
Yeah. So just an absolute trash performance again. And then Michigan State comes to town. Michigan State is quarterbacked by none other than Brian Hoyer. You may have heard of him.
Yeah.
Anybody remember who his second stringer was?
No.
Nick Foles.
Oh shit.
Oh. Okay.
And This is the fourth game of the season is when they get their first offensive touchdown.
Wait, are you kidding me?
No.
No.
I mean, they've scored 3 points, 10 points, and 0 in their first 3 games.
The 10 points was a defensive touchdown.
They got a pick 6 right away. That was it, right? Or did they get a...
The only touchdown thus far this season was the pick 6 against Penn State.
Yeah.
That is... Oh my God. I'd forgotten it was this bad.
I had fully suppressed this, and I'm going to strongly caution my dad to not listen to this episode because we already lived through this once, and
this game had a normal number of 4 sacks.
Is normal-ish.
Was Lou Holtz on the ESPN show at the end of the day with Mark
he
May
must have
still?
just been screaming this year.
Man, bring back college football final.
Yeah,
that was great.
Was that going on in 2007? Because I feel like there was a lot of quote unquote Charlie Weiss systematic advantage things coming in the season.
Yeah.
Kevin's like, oh God, don't remind me of that.
Decided schematic advantage.
That's right.
There we go.
Schematic advantage. The schematic advantage. I had it wrong.
Seared in my brain.
So I'm gonna show you a clip of one of the last plays of the game here. Keep in mind that this is designed. This was a designed play.
Okay, let's see if he can play it.
Here, let me pull it up.
Let Jordan try to play it. Adam.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the play design. I cannot wait to see the schematic play design. Oh, there's an ad for Taco Bell. Oh, no, it's Pepsi. Sorry.
Rick will get it. Don't worry. No, Hoyer fumbled it. He's going to pass it. And he goes for the end zone, and he's got the touchdown.
Wait, it was a designed fake fumble?
They designed that, yes.
For a second.
This is Mark
do that anymore?
Bullshit at its best, and I love it.
Did they ban that? I feel like they've banned the fake fumble. I don't know. Anyways,
I know in the NFL they've banned the holy roller. I'm not sure about this.
That is absolutely some Mark Antonio bullshit. I love it.
Anyways, so this is for the first time in history, in school history, Notre Dame is 0-4 at this point.
They did get some rushing yards this game, though.
Oh, how many?
They rushed 117.
Oh,
they rushed for
so
a regular number of yards.
Wow.
Yes.
Only had 200 total in the game, but still.
They're starting to come up with something.
Charlie Weiss is bringing it together.
We'll see about that. The next game,
best performance. They got rushing yards and not as many sacks.
Yeah,
I can only
Notre Dame
better.
The Irish would continue their losing streak here against Purdue, 19-33. There were only 2 sacks in this game, and they kind of got it together in the second half. Apparently, Charlie Weiss laid into the team at the end or at halftime, but they were not able to wind up to come back and win. So the final score was 19-33.
Oh.
And then they travel to California to play UCLA. This is an unusual thing because Notre Dame usually travels to California at the end of the season, either against USC or against Stanford. They trade, but for once they went to California in mid-season. 7 turnovers, 5 fumbles
total
in the game. Yes,
just Notre Dame.
Let me pull it up again. This is what happens when you do your research weeks ahead of time.
You're fine.
We're not perfect.
7 turnovers on UCLA's part.
Oh,
Notre Dame played a perfect game
and lost it, and still lost the game.
No, they won this. They won
this one. Oh, thank God!
20-6.
Yeah, because UCLA was helping.
Yeah, UCLA, I don't believe had a very good season that year either. Let me look at them. 6-7, better than we had, but
they lost the Las Vegas Bowl.
5 of those turnovers were fumbled. 3 were recovered by Notre Dame. 5 fumbles total on UCLA's part. 3 recovered by Notre Dame. 140 yards on Notre Dame's part.
Notre Dame won the game with 140 yards of total offense to
And
UCLA's
UCLA had
282.
82. Yes.
Jesus Christ!
See, UCLA was helping.
I went to the UCLA season Wikipedia page, and there's pictures on the side of the quarterback Ben Olsen,
yeah,
and then quarterback Patrick Cowan. I don't know why they have them on the side, but it just looks like they're avoiding the paparazzi. There's I can't look at the cameras. I can't talk to you about this 7 turnover performance against Notre Dame.
that is okay.
And then Boston College comes to town.
Oh no!
Boston College.
It's Massachusetts Notre Dame.
Matt Ryan.
Yes, this is ranked Boston College. This is perfect on this season, Boston College. They're 7-0 at this point.
Yes, and they finished 11-3 and ranked number 10 in the AP poll. Does anybody know who Matt Ryan's third stringer was this year?
No, there's no way I could guess this. Who is it?
Billy Flutie.
Oh.
Who got playing today.
Sure.
This reminds me of
playing time, you said?
This is 11-3 Boston College. Sure.
This reminds me of there's something at Boston College. If you work for the school, all of your family can go to Boston College tuition free.
Mm-hmm.
There was an article of a custodian that worked at Boston College, and he put his 7 kids through Boston College because he was still a custodian there.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm just imagining Doug Flutie just working at Boston College.
Well, he wasn't as an athlete.
Putting Billy Flutie through school and getting Billy Flutie third string quarterback. There was no Billy Flutie Flakes.
There were not. But anyways, Boston College had 459 total yards in this game.
Yeah, they just ran all over their asses.
Yeah.
Notre Dame actually put up a respectable 222.
Okay.
And the game wound up being 14-27 Boston College, and that was with Boston College getting 15 penalties for 131 yards.
Wait. Hold on. I clicked the link. I clicked the link. Hold on. I clicked the link for rivalry between Boston College and Notre Dame. The Wikipedia says this is the Holy War.
Yeah, that's one of the Holy Wars. Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No one calls it that, but it is.
Nobody calls it that, except the NBC announcers sometimes. But.
Is this not the American Great Schism? We can make specifically Catholic references here if we want to, if we try hard enough.
I mean, Boston College is a Jesuit school, and Notre Dame is a, plain Jane Catholic school, a Congregation of the Holy Cross. But Catholics versus Catholics.
I really want a shirt that says Catholics versus Jesuits.
I mean, that's the history of Catholicism right there, man. That's not a shirt. That's just history.
No, the thing that gets me is because what school I went to in New Orleans, what high school I went to, and our arch rival was the Jesuits. So this kind of fits there. I may have doxed myself, but whatever. You don't know what year I am. I'm old. It's fine. but yes, we are associated with the Notre Dame Seminary, and then our arch rival is Jesuit. So this is the Holy War. Now I got to imagine this. I participated in the high school Holy War.
This game is now called the Frank Leahy
Leahy Trophy.
Yeah, Memorial Bowl. It's not, the trophy is not nearly as cool as you want it to be.
No.
Oh.
But it is one of the 5 or 6 Notre Dame trophy games. There's the megaphone. That's the one against Michigan State. Yes, the trophy is a megaphone.
Wow.
Why not?
Okay,
there is.
Big fans.
I'd have to look it up. It's been a long time. It's like a cheerleader's megaphone. So.
Okay.
Totally.
There is there are multiple shillelaghs.
There are. I know that. Yeah.
Yes.
There's the jeweled shillelagh
Yes.
with
USC.
USC.
Uh-huh.
There is the shillelagh game with Purdue.
Yes.
And there is the one that disappeared for a long time. There's a Northwestern Notre Dame rivalry trophy that Northwestern threw into a storage room and disappeared for like 50 years.
It happens.
And then was it's owned privately by somebody now. Notre Dame's SB Nation blog tried to will it back into existence, but it didn't go anywhere when they played each other a couple years ago. Speaking of shillelagh trophies, though, next on the list is the jeweled shillelagh. USC comes to town. USC right now is ranked number 13 only because they lost the previous game that they played. Prior to that, they were ranked number 4.
This was a pretty good. This was like a pretty good, but not amazing UCLA or USC team.
USC team, yeah. Yeah, they didn't. Their quarterback was.
Oh shit! Another chaos year. This was the 24-23 Stanford USC game.
Yeah, it was Jim Harbaugh's
first
Stanford game. That's why they were ranked.
Oh yes,
this is unranked. This is unranked Stanford taking down Pete Girl and pissing him off
as a 40-point underdog, a 39
ran his ass out of the sport.
Oh yes,
Pete Girl was like, "I'm not. If that's the kind of person I'm going to coach against, I'm done with this shit. I will not coach against this. I'm not going to coach against that man drinking milk and khakis on the sideline. I refuse. I'm better than this. I will get money in Seattle. I no longer want this job.
Have fun, Andy Reid.
Yeah,
he also saw the writing on the wall as well, but
for sure."
No, the quarterback for USC was John David Booty.
Of the Shreveport Booties, yes.
Of the Texas Booties as well.
Wait, is John David, was he from Shreveport? Or did he go to high school in Shreveport?
John David Booty went to high school in Shreveport. Yeah,
okay, that's right.
Evangel
yes.
Christian. Because his son... Is his son the one that is his son General? Yes, his son General Booty.
No, I think
his nephew is General Booty. His nephew is General Booty.
Josh Booty's son, I think, is General Booty.
Yeah, so those Booties came to Texas because General played in Allen. Look, there's a lot of Booty to talk about here.
Yeah, there is.
This is okay. Quote by the way from John David Booty's article on personal life. Booty was high school backfield mates with former LSU and former Chargers running back Jacob Hester. Calling someone backfield mates just works about perfectly.
So the Notre Dame quarterbacking situation I want to talk about here. So up until this point, Notre Dame had basically settled on Jimmy Clausen as their quarterback. Evan Sharpley had seen some playing time as well, but at this point, Clausen had been the starter. But things have been going badly enough that Charlie Weiss decided to switch quarterbacks and go with Evan Sharpley, with the hope that would change things. It did not. Evan Sharpley started under center, and he proceeded to get sacked 7 times.
Okay.
And this
is an O-line problem. Got it.
This is the problem with Coach Braid. When you've gotten sacked that many times, the problem is not the quarterback. The problem is, like you said, the offensive line.
Yeah, that's an
and a new quarterback can't fix a terrible offensive line. This is why I think Baker Mayfield doesn't get enough credit for how well he did in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. I'm just glad that he made it out of Cleveland intact. Because, to be fair, this is the first time that in many a long time that Cleveland actually invested in an offensive line. But I want to go. So the game ended 38-0. It was a complete shutout. And pulling up the AP article from this, it is Charlie Weiss is just, when asked if he believes that the Irish have hit rock bottom, Charlie Weiss chose his words carefully. Quote, I'm going to answer that very cautiously because I don't want to be called sarcastic using New Jersey rhetoric, he said. So let me just say, people better enjoy it now. Have their fun now. The AP article said the Trojans certainly did.
Oh, God. Why would you even, don't say anything. Just say, yeah, that was bad, and go.
Yeah. Anyways, so finally there's a bye week ahead of, and this is the game that truly, really broke the season, and why I think this is the worst season of all time for Notre Dame.
I was sort of into college football at this point. I'd really not really gotten into it a ton yet, because this would have been 2 years after I graduated college, but I remember this. I remember 44-46.
Yeah. So Navy comes to town.
Oh yeah.
This is a Navy that's coached by Paul Johnson in his 6th year there. Notre Dame is coming off of a bye. Navy has gone 4-4, and they just lost to Delaware. Yeah. Surely we can beat Navy.
Hey, but that's number 9 in FCS, Delaware. That's future CUSA member Delaware.
Put some respect on the Blue Hens.
Put some respect on, big Pennsylvania Delaware
that
Blue
team,
Hens.
Well, clearly Notre Dame didn't.
Right.
That Delaware team lost to App State in the title game.
Fair. But the Irish haven't lost to Navy in 40 years.
Yeah, it's been forever.
43 years.
And remember when
exact.
I said we'd get back to 1963?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
This is where we'll get back to 1963. Because guess who the quarterback was for Navy in 1963? And the reason why I didn't pick 1963. Roger Staubach was the quarterback in 1963 for Navy.
Yeah, he was. Jesus.
So Navy's quarterback today in 2007 is anybody remember this name?
No.
I'm gonna post it in the channel.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was no, I can't even do that. You even haven't sounded out.
Kaipo Noah Kaheko Enoda.
Oh, yes.
That's from the pronunciation guide.
Yes, sure.
And this game is pretty back and forth the whole game. Sharpley does get sacked 5 times, but the game ends regulation tied 35-all. The Irish go on defense for the first overtime. Each team gets a touchdown. Second overtime, they trade field goals. And so at this point, we are going into third overtime. So Navy starts again. They score and they make the 2-point conversion. And then Notre Dame gets a touchdown. Has to go for 2. They pass it, and it's incomplete.
Yep.
But flags are thrown. Yep. Pass interference in the end zone. Move the ball to the 1.5-yard line. They need 1.5 yards, and they cannot get there. They get stuffed. Paul Johnson, I don't have the clip. I have, if we can. But seeing Paul Johnson smile.
I know the exact clip you're talking about. Yep.
Whenever you get to see Paul Johnson with a big fat grin on his face, it's a good day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this win for Navy puts them to start a 4-game winning streak. They beat Army to close out the year, and their only loss after this was to Urban Meyer's Utah, and it was 35-32. This game broke Notre Dame. And as I was talking to people in the Discord in advance of this, one of the reasons I skipped over the Dan Devine seasons was because Dan Devine may have been the worst coach Notre Dame has ever had.
Yeah.
Lou Holtz came in and they were voting on whether or not to have practice and whether or not to have bowl games. The players were, as if the coaches didn't want to have a say in that. But the one thing Dan Devine didn't do is he never lost to Navy. So
there are certain things you can't do, and this is it.
Yeah. Well, you can't break a 40-year losing streak or winning streak. And Paul Johnson went off of this. This was the year that Paul Johnson went to Georgia Tech. And he brought the triple to Atlanta.
It's okay because surely Notre Dame after this would just fire Charlie Weis at the end of this season. But we'll get there.
Well, we'll get to that.
Surely.
So we'll wrap up the season here. So they play Air Force, who they also lose again to 21-41. Clausen return for this game. And get sacked 6 times. They finally get it together for the last 2 games of the season, and they beat Duke 28-7.
A 1-11 Duke.
Yes. And then they beat Stanford 21-14.
But that was more interesting because that's the Stanford team that beat.
That was coached by Jim Harbaugh.
That beat SC. So that one is more interesting. That was Harbaugh's first season and Dave Shaw's first season as OC. That was the start of a lot of it. And Scott Schaefer as first season as DC there. He ended up taking a tour of duty at Syracuse, I think. Scott Schaefer? I think so.
Yes, he did.
Anyways, oh my God. That's hilarious.
So on the season, 2 things stuck out to me on the season stats. Well, one and another point of pride here. So Jimmy Clausen had 62 total carries. Anybody want to guess what his total yardage was?
I'm looking at the show notes, so I will recuse myself.
I'm going to say, okay, he had in his hands maybe 50 or 60 yards. It was bad.
Now he got sacked. Okay, so he was the one that was sacked the most, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's got to be in the negatives. He's
negative 187 yards.
They murdered him. It was a 187 on Jimmy Clausen's ass.
And I mean, you look at the way that he ran. He would drop back really far and then run to either the boundary or the field side. And so his sacks he was 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Gotcha.
Or more. And so it piled up. He got sacked 34 times.
Jesus.
I hope that he got a long ice bath at the end of that season because he needed it.
For sure.
And I mean, he went on to have a couple of respectable, in terms of yardage, passing seasons after that.
Carolina Panthers great, Jimmy Clausen.
He rode Pine at Carolina for 3 years, played 0 snaps, and still got paid. That is the life.
Like I said, legend with the Panthers, and then
fucking Chicago picked him up and made him play, and then shit went bad. Don't do that. Let him sit on the line.
They didn't make him play. Somebody got hurt.
And that's making him play.
Well, I mean, again, sometimes the backup actually has to do some work every now and then.
Not if you're good at it.
You gotta get lucky.
Jordan, you kind of alluded to this, but did Notre Dame? This is probably aside from the loss to Navy, maybe the worst part of this is. Did Notre Dame fire Charlie Weis after this?
This is damning. No, they did not fire him.
We did not get the one thing that you hope to get if this is the kind of season that you have as a football fan.
But
you don't get your head coach fired. No, Notre Dame had to wait 2 more years until 2009 before they fired Charlie Weiss. And my thought is, had they pulled the trigger earlier, you know who would have been around to our earlier point? Nick Saban would have been available.
No.
Yeah. That would
have
been.
that's
Nick Saban is a Pews and Sunday Catholic and may have been able to convince him to come.
Okay, no.
Hey,
See, wait, you're saying Nick Saban would have been available? So this is the end of 2007. In 2007, ULM beat Alabama, and Nick Saban was already the head coach of Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay, yeah, no, it would have been.
it would have not lined up that
way.
way, and this is why the Commish is here to correct this.
Hey, but Adam, did they maybe change the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator the next season? Notre Dame? No, they kept him on. And the part that I love about this the most is that for the Charlie Weiss's last season at Notre Dame, do you know who his offensive coordinator was? It was Charlie Weiss.
I mean, he did have what did he have, Kevin? That
decided schematic advantage.
That's right. He did have that.
You know what else he had in 2007 that he used 6 times all season? A guy by the name of Golden Tate had 6 catches on the season.
Well, to be fair, Jimmy
for
Johnson
130 yards.
Getting sacked.
I'm still just stuck on Charlie Weiss's offensive coordinator that has the same energy as being like just going pro se in court.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm betting on me. This is a great idea.
Okay, folks. Go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, even when they fired him in 2009, the reason, going back to an earlier point, they extended him until 2015 in his first season. And so even when they did fire him in 2009, the buyout was $19 million.
That's right. He was getting paid by 3 schools at one point.
Yeah, this was my freshman year in high school, and we were still paying him when I graduated college.
Yeah, it was the original Jimbo.
Also, gentle listener, I would like you to know that $19 million in 2009 money is $27 million in 2024 money.
That's nothing for A&M, though.
It's a third of a Jimbo.
Oh, okay, folks. That's what we got for tonight. Adam, thank you so much for coming back, for sharing with us the worst season of all time. Hey, Beth, welcome back.
I was here the whole time. What are you talking about?